I just didn't want to risk doing it with the skim milk and then have everybody be like, well, it didn't work because you used skim milk and it's just like water. Shut up. Happy birthday, everybody. Welcome to Cerealsly, where we take cereals seriously. My name is Alex, and for 3 full months of my life, during the year when I was 35 years old, I pulled on a certain patch of my hair right here for about 1 minute a day to see if that would help that area of hair grow faster than the rest. I was incredibly disciplined about this hair-tugging routine and finished those 3 months rather proud of myself. The results, however, negligible. No dramatic difference. If you've ever become your own test subject in a self-inflicted and absolutely useless human trial, I'd love to hear about it down in the comments. Today on Cerealsly, we're taking a break from the wild and weird to focus on something I love even more than those things: the overlooked and the underappreciated. You see, this week was my actual birthday, so instead of just choosing a new and upcoming cereal, I thought it would be fun to share with you the answer to the number 2 question I get around here at Cerealsly. The number 1 question, of course, is how can you use skim milk? To which I have no acceptable answer. The number 2 question, though, is a nicer one, and that is, Alex, what is your favorite cereal? And to answer that question, we're not just going to try the cereal together and then talk about it, but I've also devised a way to bring back the long-dormant scientific segment of Cerealsly, the test. So as we get into this episode, I want to thank you for wishing me a happy birthday and to invite you to put on your thinking caps once again as we explore my favorite cereal, which is consistently available in stores, but a little off the radar of most casual cereal eaters. All right, here I am with the cereal in question. I was thinking about doing one of those little guessing games where I describe it, then you have to guess what it is. But unless you truly stumbled upon this video blind, you probably saw the thumbnail. You probably saw the title. That's how YouTube works. And you know exactly what the cereal is. So forget the guessing game. Let's get into it. On this, my birthday week, I'm happy to share with you that my all-time favorite cereal is, bada boom, Crispix. Here, of course, is the box with me. I love this stuff. Crispix was released in 1983, which was a formative year for me as a little kid, which may be one of the reasons I love it so much. It was created as a direct response competitor to Chex cereals, which was then made by Ralston Purina. It's now owned by General Mills, so that's what you'll see in a box nowadays. Just a quick interesting note. Kellogg's still owns the rights to the name Chex in at least 2 markets, Singapore and South Korea. So there are still cereals you can buy in the world that are labeled as Kellogg's Chex. That's wild to me. That feels, for me, like saying Marvel's Superman or something wrong like that. When it comes to Crispix itself, the upgrade from Chex, of course, is that both sides are different, that there is corn and then there is rice. They are put together in this unique hexagon shape. One of the original slogans for Crispix is crispy times 2. I think that's brilliant. It's amazing to me also that, as far as I know, there are no other long-running cereals with a hexagon shape. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. Actually, that's been one of my favorite comment types, corrections. I love those. Kellogg says that in order to make Crispix, the rice and corn sides, they're prepped and then dried separately. Then they're laid over on top of one another and then cut and then toasted so that they puff up into pillows. Pillows, they call them. That is a correct use of pillows. Remember we talked about Captain Crunch? That is not a good use of pillows. These really look like pillows. In fact, it's always amazed me personally. The pillow shape, yes, but the incredibly delicate connection between the 2 halves is something that we cannot not take notice of. I mean, this is 2 different things put on each other, and they are just touching in that incredibly light lattice. Somehow makes a seal together. Honestly, Crispix, it's a thing of beauty. The feature that I enjoy perhaps the most, though, of Crispix is how incredibly well they hold milk. I don't mean that they like suck up milk and get soggy. That's what most cereals do. I mean the milk goes in and gets trapped in the structure. So when you eat it, there's a crunch, but there's also built-in milk. My brother once described it as gusher cereal. In fact, after our taste test today, that's what will lead us back to the science lab. We're going to be holding a special test between 3 competing cereals to see which one holds on to the most milk. I hope it works out well, so stick around, nerds, for the test section today. Because remember, I told you this was my favorite cereal. I love how it holds milk. I love how it's put together. I love that it has both grains. But this is what I call a top shelf cereal. It's at most grocery stores, yes, but it's up on top. And it's far away from the eyes of the normal rabble, the normal kids looking to grab a sugary sweet cereal. It's a more refined taste, a more elite experience, in my opinion. Do you agree? Does it deserve perhaps a little more love than it usually gets? Friends, it's time to eat some cereal. All right, I've got all of my stuff prepared. I got my bowl, I got my trusty spoon, I've got my inspiration Skim Henson over here, and we are gonna try, like I said, my favorite cereal. This is also a cereal where not many varieties exist, or they barely ever exist, and when they have tried, they have failed some multiple times, and yet it sticks around. Again, like I said, it's a top shelf cereal. It's liked enough to stay, but it doesn't spawn other varieties. I think in that same category, let me think of some other ones. Cracklin' Oat Bran is in that category, or like, what's it called? Basic 4? Is that what it's called? Maybe we'll have to do like a whole top shelf review of cereals at some point, which are just those ones that you know exist, but they're gonna be up there. They're not gonna be down with the normal. I'm talking too much. I'm really excited to eat this. Good bag opening. Crispix, if I'm gonna knock it for something, it's that the bags aren't always great. Boy, this is the kind of cereal that makes me happy because I love it so much. Thanks for watching. Thanks for spending time together. Look at how I'm just happy now. Happy you're here. Happy I'm here. I'm happy dear old boy Crispix is here. So let's pour it in the bowl. Yes, I mean, this is, I really don't want to overemphasize this too much, but we got to take a look. It's a unique shape, and then because it is puffed up like this, how do they do it? How does it hold on by just the edges are what is holding on to each other? That's amazing. And they're really sticking at your checks. You got 2 separate boxes that you got to get of checks in order to get this. Let's try some dry. I know what they taste like. I'm just excited to eat them, especially after, let me say, the keto episode that I filmed last week. I'm still dealing with the keto episode. That stuff lingered for a long time. Happy to be eating some Crispix, beloved Crispix today. Delicate, fun, crunchy. There's a little bit of sweetness, I like that. If you've never made homemade Crispix mix, you're missing out. You gotta give it a try. It's the same as Chex Mix, doesn't have that nasty wheat Chex that nobody likes anyway. Even Chex doesn't like wheat Chex in their Chex Mix that they make. You don't need it. Instead, you just get Crispix. You've got an extra thing. I know people use this for like, what are those called? Muddy Buddies or like Puppy Chow cereal snack stuff where it's like chocolatey and some powder on it. That's fine. Peanut butter. That's fine. But go old school. Go with like Chex Mix flavoring, the Worcestershire sauce, and whatever else goes into that, garlic powder and such. And you will like that. All right, let's put some milk on it. Like I said, I love it in milk because of how much milk it holds. Let's try it with some milk in it. It just sucked it up immediately. It's ready for me to eat it. Good job, Crispix. America's soup. That's what this stuff is. But look at even how like on the side of the box, you can see that where it's like falling so lightly, so gently in. It has that taste. It has the taste of lightness, of airiness, of you're not getting something too heavy just down in your stomach to weigh you down. This is great. You know, I told you it's my favorite. I'm going to give this 5 out of 5 hexagons or whatever. Who cares what that thing is? It's just a thing that it's all of it. It's everything that I would want to just enjoy. I'm going to take a little break, eat more of this just because I love it and have a good time. And then we're going to explain how we're going to do some science together. All right, friends, we are all prepped for our test section. We are going to try to find out which of 3 cereals is going to hold the most milk. I don't know if this is going to work out. That's why it's a test, because I think that Crispix holds on to a lot of milk. I don't even know if that's a thing that we will successfully test, let alone prove that Crispix is what I think it is. I'm very open-handed, so that's what life should be. Very open-handed. I love it. but that doesn't mean it's got to win. That doesn't mean you have to love it. That doesn't mean it has to hold the most milk. Who am I to put that on Crispix to own all of that? That's too much for anybody. So let's talk about our contenders first. We got Crispix, of course. Second cereal we got is Corn Chex. It's direct competitor. I chose corn because it has the most, the structure is the most firm and crunchy. You get into rice and I just feel like that's going to suck it up. Wheat, nobody likes wheat. Then finally, I tried to think of a third competitor, and the one that I thought would soak up the most without getting soggy right away at least was Frosted Mini Wheats. Frosted Mini Wheats have that kind of like, they're like spun wheat in it, and I think that'll grab milk up. What we're gonna do is we're gonna put a certain amount of milk, the same amount of milk in each bowl, the same weight of cereal. I think that's how we're gonna do, by the weight of the cereal. We're gonna mix those two, let it sit for 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds, I'm going to fish out the cereal with as much milk as will stay inside the cereal as possible. Put that in a different bowl. Once it's in the other bowl, we're gonna see how much milk is left. Does this make sense? I've tried to be kind of listening to myself, and I think it makes sense. You can see how serious I am. Look, I brought graph paper notebook to write down the numbers, so don't forget. But I got my scale, got this, got the scoop. I don't even know, we're not gonna use it by a cup. That didn't go very successfully in the minis episode. But now, I am gonna bring something onto the scene that you longtime Cerealsly fans, you're gonna be shocked. Here's what I'm gonna do for this test. I am going to put aside my skim, my beloved skim, and instead bring in whole milk. Whole milk. Actually, I think this whole milk, this one is just called milk. It just says milk, which I assume means whole milk. I am doing this because I think the fat in the milk will give us a more dramatic result. Is that true? I mean, I don't know how stuff holds on to itself and grabs onto other elements when it comes to cereal, but it might hold into the cereal more because it has the fat inside of it. I just didn't want to risk doing it with the skim milk and then have everybody be like, well, it didn't work because you used skim milk and it's just like water. Shut up. Fine, we're going to use, I'm talking to people who haven't said the thing yet, but I know you would have thought it. All you people, you say stuff like that to me. Instead, we're just going to start with the whole milk. As whole as can be. So let's start with our first contender, tried and true Crispix. Dear to me, do not let me down. I don't even know what are we letting me down in. Okay, so we gotta weigh this. I don't know what a right measurement would be, but I'm going to zero it out, and then we're gonna put a moderate amount. Maybe I'll use this just to like give us a starting point of about a cup. Okay, there's ones in it already. They're flying all over, losing control. All right, so I'm gonna put this in. It's going up, up, up. It looks like I'm gonna do 1 ounce. So that's what we're gonna do. 1 ounce of cereal, and then why don't I make sure to zero this out, and then whole milk. I can't even remember the last time I opened some whole milk. Let's pour this in and see what we can get. See if we can get 1 ounce of milk is a very small amount of milk. We're gonna go 4 ounces of milk. So we got 4 ounces of milk. Oh geez, I don't know if this is gonna work. It's not even gonna fit. It's not even going to submerge the cereal at 4 ounces. I got to go more. Okay, this is way harder than I thought. All right, so we've got 7 ounces of milk, 1 ounce of cereal, dramatically different. I am going to put this together and let it sit for 30 seconds. Ready, set, go. I'm going to push it in. This is a long time. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Now I'm gonna start scooping it out. I know it's gonna drip. That's okay. It doesn't have to be perfect. There is a lot of milk inside of the cereal. Okay, so that's the standard. A little bit wild, a little bit messy, a little bit freaking out, but we got some milk left. So I'm gonna put a different bowl on this to zero out the bowl weight. Put that blank bowl aside, and then I'm gonna put the bowl here. So remember, we started with 7 ounces of milk, and now it is at 4.59 ounces of milk. Wow, so that's different. At least it's different. What if it hadn't been different? How embarrassing would that have been? Next up, Corn Chex. I'm going too fast. I'm like just a little freaking out here. Okay, it's at 0. Let's add 1 ounce. Okay, there it is. That is 1 ounce. 0.99, plenty. Okay, we're gonna put that to the side and get our milk ready. Make sure that that's zeroed out. 7 ounces of milk. Oh, close enough. This is Chex, 7.1. All right, I have a timer off in the distance here. I'm gonna go in 4, 3, 2, 1. Pour it in there. Let's start the 30 seconds. Submerge all these little babies. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, let's get them out of here. Let's get them out as much as we can. Put them in here. All right, that is an empty bowl of milk. I'm pretty proud of myself for doing it that fast. That was pretty good. The bowl is zeroed out, so what we are left with is 5.26. It didn't hold as much. It left over some. I'm just gonna write that down. I know you love watching someone write something on graph paper. Let's get out our frosted mini wheats. Let's zero this one out. There's a bowl. Oh man. All right. I haven't had these in a long time. I cannot imagine it's gonna take many of these to get to 1 ounce. I actually should have thought of that. Oh my gosh. Frosted mini wheats is a dense cereal. Oh my goodness. That's it. 12 nuggets or whatever those things are called. 12 baskets of wheat. Okay, 7.2. I'm getting worse and worse at pouring 7 ounces. 7.2 ounces is what we're starting with. I'm gonna put it right in here so I don't even have to take it off of here. I'm gonna start in 3, 2, 1, go. They sank right to the bottom. That was like sad. Okay, 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna scoop them back out. Scoop them back out. Oh wow, they all came out in one grab. I think, yep, they're gone. Okay, 5.7. A surprisingly strong showing. So give me a second, let me do the calculations. Be right back with you. All right, we did it. We tested things and actually took data, and who knows if it was done correctly. Please send in better methods if you are someone watching this and you're like, I did this in 3rd grade and here's the obvious, easier way to do it. But here are the results. We put 1 ounce of frosted mini wheats in a bowl of 7-ish ounces of milk, and it sucked out 1.5 ounces. The next in line was Chex. Chex sucked up and held on to 1.84 ounces. But friends, we did it. It's my birthday week. My favorite cereal wins. Wins? I don't know what it wins, but it held the most milk. 2.41 ounces of milk were sucked up inside of it. If you want a cereal that sucks up milk and then puts it in your mouth, even though if you're a milk drinker at the end of your bowl, you would still drink it, so who gives a rip? I guess this is just interesting or helpful for people who don't drink the milk at the end. You need to know you're getting the most milk from a bowl of Crispix. Isn't that a nice thing to know? Well, we have done it all. We talked, we ate, we did science, we reveled in the delightfully delicate lattice of cereal engineering, and now it is enough. Remember, I gave this, my beloved Crispix, 5 out of 5 everythings. Whatever it is, 5 of them. If you want to try Crispix for yourself, like I said, go to any supermarket, Target, Walmart, wherever, but make sure to look all the way at the top. Raise your head to see it off in the distance. I'm sure you will love it. And listen, if you haven't yet, please like this video. Just subscribe to the channel. And then would you leave a comment with what cereal we should look at together in a future episode. Until then, never be soggy, my friends. Bye-bye.